This November, SAFM proudly presents the third annual lecture.
And as the Freedom Charter says, no legitimate government could claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And I think sometimes people forget that.
SAFM invites you to our third annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment, rebuilding South Africa's social contract for inclusive and sustainable growth. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Fourways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Streaming Skim Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into ifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. Zero subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business. Security that earns trust. AI for smarter, faster decisions. IoT that connects systems and people. And connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
So, you switched to a different brand of sun protection, and you're still getting vitamin E and UV filters for high sun protection and a safer summer. Plus long-lasting water-resistant skin protection that's approved by skin specialists and the Cancer Association. That's because you made a clever switch to Click's Sun Protect products with Click's trusted quality and great value. When you switch, it just clicks. Switch and save only at Clicks.
This summer, the continent unites for the biggest football showdown in Africa. The Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025 is coming to your screens, live and available on SABC TV channels, SABC Sport, SABC Plus, and across your favorite SABC radio stations. Catch all 52 thrilling matches, stand behind Bafana Bafana, and experience every goal, every cheer, and every victory from 21 December 2025 to 18 January 2026. SABC Sport brings you all the AFCON 2025 action, live and free, because it's game on everywhere.
For the love of the game.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
How many moments of joy do you have? Why I'm talking about joy is we are not using joy as a goal. Joy is a measure. Joy means you're at ease. Joy means you become more of life than being a mental mess, isn't it? Joy does not mean that you attain to something. Joy simply means life has come to ease, you're not messing yourself up. For this you must keep accounts. Every day before you go to bed, check it out, spend 5 minutes. Have I been better today than yesterday? Has my day been better? Every day, if you keep accounts, you will see no matter what the hell happens in life situations, you will not go down.
That's Jagadish Jaggi Vasudev, also known as Sadhguru. He's an Indian guru and founder of the Isha Foundation. It's 12 after 9 o'clock. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Talking Point. My name is Cathy Mohlahlana, and I'll be with you until midday as we lead conversations that move us. Okay, so Quite a busy morning in as far as some of the developments that are taking place, especially within the criminal justice system, prosecutorial matters are concerned. So we've got two breaking news stories that are on the go as things stand. The first one is the former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba. He's expected to appear in court this morning, and this is over charges that are related to Transnet. News 24 this morning reporting that Gigaba had said he had been informed by the NPA that he was required to attend court, and this is where he's expecting to be officially charged. At this point, there isn't clarity around what charges will be brought against him. The charge sheet will only be made clear once he actually is in the dock and those charges are read out to him. And again, speaking to News 24, Gigaba said that his conscience is clear regarding his conduct in office and that his actions have always been guided by policy process and values of accountability and service. So this morning, then, we're expecting to see Malusi Gigaba in court as he is officially charged over matters related to Transnet. And of course, one can ascertain that it has to do with issues of procurement and all of the irregularities around procurement that have been spoken about over the years and, in fact, have led to the regression at Transnet over a period of time. Also breaking this morning is that the um, police minister, Senzo Mchunu, is being investigated for alleged corruption and interference. And he has now this morning handed over his devices to the SAPS. He has handed over his devices to the SAPS. Just this week, Brown Mokgotsi, wanted by the police, also they were searching for his devices. And at some point, it seemed police were struggling to locate him. They couldn't reach him. They physically went to his premises to try and find him. And the devices were key to what the police were looking for. And all of this, we cannot say is not linked to what we know are the ongoing investigations that are taking place in as far as the inquiries and investigations into the allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And just so that I'm clear, I'm in no way linking what is happening to Malusi Gigaba to this matter, as that's a matter around Transnet. Could it be linked? Well, we don't know at this point until it is read out, until that charge sheet is made clear before the court. But in as far as these devices are concerned, yesterday, the IDEC chairperson, Advocate Andrea Johnson, during her appearance before Parliament's SAPS ad hoc committee, she revealed that a significant amount of data had been deleted from the cell phones of Vusumuzi Cat Madlala. And he's been implicated, of course, in irregular processes when it comes to the 360 million rand SAPS tender. And it is that tender that IDEC was also investigating. And she defended IDEC's actions in arresting high ranking officials. And these arrests included the SAPS Crime Intelligence Head, Lieutenant General Khumalo. And she said that these were matters of criminal offenses and not internal disciplinary issues. So we have lots of things on the go in as far as the story is concerned. The puzzles keep shifting and moving each and every day, but it is a story that we're going to continue to stay on top of. In fact, we're expecting that Advocate Andrea Johnson is going to continue with her evidence before the ad hoc committee this morning. And of course, what we will do is take you live to Parliament when those proceedings get underway. I think for today, they're scheduled to begin at around 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. She gave evidence until almost 10 o'clock last night. So it was a long time in that witness box for her, and it'll continue this morning. We'll take you live there. And as always, we'll also keep track on what's unfolding at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Yesterday, the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department Chief of Police, Isaac Mabiyeye, he gave evidence and he talked about serious irregular appointments that were allegedly made by a deputy chief officer, Julius Mkhwanazi, many of which had bypassed formal process and formal procedure. He implicated the City of Ekurhuleni manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, in improperly handling recruitment and promotion processes. And all of this, of course, speaks to how it was all linked to a dodgy deal that resulted in an agreement between the EMPD and two companies that belonged to the criminal accused, Vusimusi Cathy Mohlahlana. The MOUs, which were signed in 2021, would see two of Mohlahlana's companies, that's Medicare Emergency, Medical Services, and CAT VIP Protection, provide services to EMPD in exchange for assistance from the Metro Police. So how deep does the corruption go, you would say? Well, this testimony, I think in many ways, sought to shed light on just how extensive and to the extent that it may be embedded within the everyday workings of the police. But look at that date. Hey, these MOUs were signed in 2021. So it's 4 years after the fact. Again, it points to the fact that some of these relationships have been intact for a long time. They've been intact for a long time. And how is it? How is it that this happened in the first place? Because this would precede even, the appointment of the current national commissioner, his deputies. This preceded them. And it just helps us to ask more questions around how deep the problems in the SAPS are. So what are we going to do? We'll start with the open line. I'm going to take your call 086 000 2032. That's 086 000 2032. On the WhatsApp voice note line 0614 104 107.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Ready to connect, innovate, and be inspired? It's all happening at Africa's Tech Festival, where Africa's technology meets the world. From the 10th to the 13th of November in Cape Town, join global leaders, investors, and innovators driving the future of Africa's digital economy. Don't miss the continent's biggest week in tech. Get your pass now at africatechfestival.com.
SAFM commemorates Disability Rights Awareness Month under the theme Celebrating 30 Years of Democracy, creating strategic, multi-sectoral partnerships for a disability-inclusive society. SAFM supports and works tirelessly towards equity and equality for those living with disabilities. Empowerment is key. Let us break the barriers and improve the quality of life for those living with disabilities. Our efforts towards a better life for those living with disabilities can only be impactful when we do so together. We do not tolerate any kind of discrimination. Disability Awareness Month 2025 on SAFM 104 to 107 FM. nationwide, leading the conversations that move us.
The Dogs of War are ready to fight for 90 minutes to grab 3 vital points in front of their home fans.
A jar with the cut back. It's Jeffries! Everton have saved.
However, the Cottagers want to add extra efforts to triumph and find a way out of the bottom half.
For Wilson. It's a great finish.
This is the Premier League. Catch Everton FC versus Fulham FC on Saturday, 8 November at 4:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC 3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
This November, SAFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
And as the Freedom Charter says, no legitimate government could claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And I think sometimes people forget that.
SAFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment, rebuilding South Africa's social contract for inclusive and sustainable growth. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Fourways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. They provide the cloud that scales the ambition, AI that drives smarter decisions, and IoT that connects what truly matters, and secure connectivity that keeps everything moving. From small enterprises to public sector solutions, Vodacom Business is creating a future where every connection counts. Stronger businesses, thriving communities, a nation ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Call us on 086 000 2032.
All right, let me start things off this morning in Winterfeld. Tsepo, good morning to you.
Morning, sister.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I was curious about the commission. Seems like it was organized by 3 years, police, judiciary, and the correctional service as colluding, and so like I thought maybe the commission will focus on those. I feel like right now they've been focusing too much on the police. I mean, I'm not saying that. Who knows? Maybe there's not even scratch the surface. But I'm wondering how long will the commission last? Because like going to, it can last maybe something like about 2 3 years, if ever like they're going to go case. Yes,
Yeah, look, I don't think it'll last 3 years because, of course, they were given a very clear timeline within which they needed to do their work. We know that's already been extended, but 3 years, I don't think so. I think they probably would want to have things wrapped up before we go into the local government elections next year.
yeah, but I feel like they would have done the whole job. Then again, I'm wondering also like if like the police minister is taking point, the acting police minister is taking point and then maybe correcting. Oh, what? It's like I don't think he's on changing a lot of things. Like the guy is slowing down.
But what makes you say that, Tsepo? I haven't gotten
No,
a
but
sense
I'm not
that he's
seeing
slow.
him acting on those things. Like they've been mentioning and all those things that now it's like IDEC is fighting with SAP and SAP is fighting with IDEC. And it's like in the Western Cape, people are just like I mean, he's not there on the media speaking every day, saying like this will end this. If it takes that slow, like he's fired. Like it still don't even know me and I never feel him to mama or looking and about
Yeah, look, Tsepo, the thing is, you can't just act, right? You need to know what exactly it is that you're acting on. And he's walked into such a volatile situation. So I think that it's probably best to err on the side of caution. You can't just fire people based on allegations because they're going to take it to court. They're going to sue you and you're going to have to pay a lot of money. That's going to be taxpayer money. And I think, when it comes to Lieutenant General Kwanazi, even on his own admission, he was only able to name one member of the judiciary, a magistrate, when he was giving evidence before Parliament. Remember, there was an exchange between him and Julius Malema where Julius actually was saying to him, who are the other members of the judiciary? And he wasn't able to produce any other names. So that's part of what the investigation also is revealing. The problems seem to be much deeper in the SAPS than, in these other spheres.
Okay, guess we'll just wait
Okay.
and see.
All right. Thanks, Sepo. Let me go to Rudzani in Senegal. Rudzani, good morning.
Morning, Casey. As a South African, every day when you wake up, you are really depressed.
Something new.
Okay, there is one thing that I don't understand. Malusi Kekaba now, we are told he must hand himself over. Is he handing himself over to police or the court so that he can be charged there? And the question that I have is that is this a standing something that police legal fraternity has got that if you are this person, you can just walk into police station and then they can charge you. But with me and you steal a loaf of bread, they will make it a point that they arrest you on Friday so that you can go and appeal on Monday. They don't even give you even if they come, you are not waiting. They will come, they will never let you. These people, they will just be told, please come, we want to check.
Again, they don't want to embarrass them, Rudzani.
No, but
they know what the media will be all over the place. There'll be pictures and it will take away from just the fact that this is the law in motion.
No, but then they must not publish then that they are going to arrest people. They must keep us doing this. Loses him. We are going to charge him on Monday. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean,
They know that even if they just go, one person is going to leak it. And then there'll be pictures everywhere.
Anyway, I understand. But last week, are crazy. I don't believe it. This guy is getting 10 years
suspended after all this time.
Now we have got somebody who was sitting behind Sibia. He has got 18 counts of, he was found guilty on 18 counts of motor vehicle jacking in Durban. He got 5 years suspended. But me and you, if we, just a small thing, you go to jail for a year or something. But this one, hey, we have got a plea bargaining, what, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I want to sleep the whole day. Depressing, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Depressing.
pity going on.
You listen to Cathy's show, there is more depressing issues than the issues you are going through.
Oh.
It's really hard to get
Oh, Rudzani, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that we are not the ones that bring you joy right now. But this is the reality of where we are, and we must confront it, right? But beyond that, we as South Africans need to make a decision about what is the future we're going to build. We all know we want something different, but how are we going to get there? And all of these events have to fuel the fire in us for better, for different, because we absolutely need a change to the status quo. This cannot be how the country is governed. This cannot be how the SAPS functions and operates. So we need to keep that in mind and ask ourselves, how in the end is it going to translate into us asking and demanding for better? It's time for your latest news headlines. And then on the other side of this, we'll take you back to the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry.
For the headlines at 9:30, I'm Dino Modaung. Good morning. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has handed over his electronic devices to authorities. Mchunu, who is on leave of absence, has been accused of corruption, having ties to criminal syndicates and meddling in police investigations. In other news, former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba has been processed after handing himself over to the police in Pretoria. The investigating Directorate Against Corruption says Gigaba is facing charges related to the irregular procurement of multi-billion rands worth of locomotives at Transnet. And the Johannesburg Emergency Services says it has activated its disaster management teams in all 7 regions of the city. This as the South African Weather Service issues a warning for heavy rain, severe thunderstorms and strong winds in Gauteng. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
I don't love waking up before the sunrise. I don't love wearing a school uniform. But I do love learning. I do love saving my mom money on transport and uniforms while I still get a good education. I do love UCT Online High School because I do love my future. Apply online before 28 November.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The Deputy Chief of Police Operations and Specialized Services, that is Goodman Mzolo, was due to retire at the end of November 2023. I had earlier initiated a process to fill the position in anticipation of his retirement, and the position was duly advertised. The candidates were shortlisted, one of whom was Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Can I go ahead? Let's see.
Please do.
64 interviews were held on the 24th of 2020, October 2023. A panel was constituted by Human Resource, HOD, HR, that is Linda Kasheka. I was the chairperson of the interview panel, and the other 2 members were, that is Ms. Kasheka and the HOD Shrek, Zanele Katembo. The 2 candidates were interviewed, the candidates which were shortlisted. It was Brigadier Mkhwanazi and the Staff Officer Ivan Duplessis. At the conclusion of the interviews, both candidates, as is a norm for the appointment at that level, were to undertake competency assessment, at the conclusion of which the panel will convene at a later stage and make a final evaluation based on the interview scores and the competency assessment results, and thereafter recommend the successful candidates for appointment. 67, the HOD HR never reconvened the panel for the purpose stated above. I have never seen the competence assessment results of either candidates, and do not know if either undertook such assessment. I can confirm that the interview panel thus never completed its task, and neither did it recommend the appointment of any of the two candidates to the post. On paragraph 67, I never saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I next saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi with the new insignia Georgettes of the rank of a Deputy Chief of Police. During the first week of December, I remember we were at a roadblock. He came wearing the new ranks of a Deputy Chief of Police. I did not inquire from him how he achieved this rank at first. The panel did not recommend him for appointment, and secondly, neither did I, as the Chief of Police, conferred the rank on him, because this is a norm which, when an employee has been appointed or promoted, I have to confer a rank to that individual who has been appointed.
On that score, if I may, is the rank conferred in a particular way during a particular process, or do you just go to his office and give him or her the necessary insignia and georgettes? What's the process normally?
I usually call my management team and then introduce the person who has been appointed in the department. I bring those ranks to that session, and then I introduce the member to the team, which is my management team. Thereafter, I confer the rank to that individual who has been appointed.
And as a matter of interest, in conferring the rank, do you get to attach the necessary insignia and georgettes, or do you give them to the member to attach onto their uniform at their leisure?
That is myself as the Chief of Police who must do that work.
Better conditions. Are you aware of any letter given to Brigadier Mkhwanazi that officially appointed him as Deputy Chief of Police and increased his employment benefits such as salary and office and those things?
Thank you, Commissioner. That is the procedure. Number one, I did not receive or seen his letter of appointment. Thank you, Commissioner. That is the procedure. Number one, I did not receive or seen his letter of appointment. Number two, yes, there are benefits included in your newly responsibilities which you might have been given, including the office space as well. So that did not come to my attention, the issues of the letter. I did not see it. At a later stage, I wrote a letter to the head of human resource requesting such, including the condition of his appointment, because he was now appointed on a contract basis. He had to do a performance assessment. I have to do performance assessment on him. So he ought to have those. So I've requested from the human resource. It was never provided to me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chief. You may then continue with your statement. You were dealing with the contents of paragraph 68.
I thought SC had dealt with number 68.
You may continue. Thank you.
Number 69, I subsequently saw Brigadier Mkhwanazi sign all EMPD communications as a Deputy Chief of Police Operations. I submit that this constitutes a misrepresentation as he has never been appointed by the panel to this position, neither as he conferred his rank by me as the Chief of Police.
Thank you.
Did you mean recommended there? I had understood that it is not the panel that appoints. The panel recommends, and then the city will appoint, or the city manager. The role of the panel, as I understood it, was to interview, assess, and recommend.
That is correct, Commissioner, as I've just indicated, because immediately after the interviews, one expected that he will then, because this is an HR process, he will then have to go through this assessment competency, thereafter recommendations to the city manager, then who will then finally appoint the individual.
Chief Mapia, yesterday you told us how many deputy chiefs there are and that they report to you. Now, ordinarily, would you have access to information about their appointments, the terms of appointments, and their performance contracts that you say you evaluate? Would you ordinarily have those as the chief?
Thank you, Commissioner. That is part of my responsibilities, because all the 5 deputy chiefs of police, they have to sign a performance contract or performance agreement with me, which I will have to evaluate quarterly and submit reports accordingly.
So after Brigadier Mkhwanazi's promotion now to Deputy Police Chief, is he then the only one that whose performance contract you didn't have as a result?
Until September last year, from when he was appointed in December 2023 up to September last year, I never received or I never seen his performance contract and his condition of appointment. But the rest I've got. Reason I wanted also to see his performance agreement contract, because at some stage I've sent him a letter, all the deputies, that you shall all go for vetting purposes. And I've arranged that session with SSA that they must go for vetting. The rest went. He responded to me and said it is not in his performance contract. So that's why I further requested this performance contract from Human Resource that I must go through and see, because he's refusing to go for vetting as a senior police officer. So I could not see his performance contract.
And ordinarily, their salaries and benefits, is that information that you would ordinarily have sight of or access to?
That is correct, Commissioner.
And in this case, you don't have?
I do not have Julius Mkhwanazi's information.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chief Mapie, at paragraph 70, you conclude that Brigadier Mkhwanazi was never recommended by the panel to this position and that you've never conferred the rank that he claims Can I refer you to paragraph 24 on your statement? We're going back to page 8. And at page 8, at paragraph 24, you say, on 1 December 2023, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was purportedly appointed as the Deputy Chief of
Sorry,
Police.
SC, to interject, what page you are going to?
I'm page 8.
Page 8.
Going back to in your statement, at paragraph 24.
I'm there.
Have you located? So I'm reading that paragraph that you state on 1st December 2023, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was purportedly appointed as the Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services. I deal with this particular appointment below. You recall that you dealt with that aspect, and we considered your choice of wording that he was purportedly appointed. And yesterday you said that, no, I'll put it differently. Is it on the basis of the conclusion you draw at paragraph 70 that he was never recommended for appointment, that you never conferred the requisite rank on him, that you state at paragraph 24 that he was purportedly appointed, so you don't recognize his appointment? Is that the position you assume?
That is correct, SC, in the sense that, as I've cleared it up earlier, that the panel recommend, thereafter the process is taken by HR for further assessment, and then with that come back to the committee. Then the recommendation will then go back to the city manager for appointment.
Thank you. Now, if we may go back to page 21, which is where we're at before I took you back to paragraph 24. With the comments, the comment you have just made, we have completed your last chapter regarding Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
Can I just ask a question?
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Still in this chapter. Chief, you report to the city manager, you've told us that. Now, did you inform the city manager about these irregularities? Did you report them to the city manager?
Commissioner, that is an HR function. HR knows exactly that people need to be sent, and thereafter, then she appoints, because she cannot appoint when she do not have all the necessary functions or information. The report which I've sent to Linda Kasheka requesting that information, I think I've CC'd the city manager as well.
When you say you think, is it because you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Why are you not saying, I did copy the city manager? Why are you not being firm about it?
The report, I went through it, but I cannot confirm seated here that it was CC to the city manager. But there is that report to the city manager, to HR.
And did you report to HR or to the city manager that Brigadier Mkhwanazi refuses to be vetted for this very important position?
I've informed the city manager, where I had the letter of the 3 signatures of the 3 deputy chiefs of police whom I was sending for vetting. All 3, they've signed a letter that they agree that they will go. Then Julius Mkhwanazi came back and sent me a WhatsApp that it is not in line with his condition of appointment. I then informed the city manager as well. Then she lambasted on me and said to me, why am I personal to Julius? Why do I want to send Julius to SSA for vetting and IPID? I am sending him to my friends so that they can give a negative recommendation about him. This was not personally. I was just following the processes which I was, as the chief of police, to have done.
And to your knowledge, did the city manager instruct him to attend that vetting? Do you know anything about it?
I don't know whether she further instructed him, but I've instructed him and I also informed the city manager about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Commissioner. May I ask you to turn your attention to page 21 of your statement, Chief? And we are moving on to the next chapter, starting at that page 21.
Ms. Sillo, before
yes, Chief.
Chief Mapia starts with his, I've noticed that it's a number of alleged crimes at various places. At face value, nothing seems, for example, to be linked to cartel or syndicate activities. So my mind started racing and I asked myself to which term or terms of reference do these alleged criminal offenses relate? Apologies if I'm
it's quite in order.
I'm taking you by surprise.
Not at all, Chief.
Thank you.
I understand the question. This particular chapter and similar is informed by the very name of this commission, the issues that it covers, even if they are not specifically spelled out in such detail in the actual terms, is inferred in the purpose for this commission. And to our understanding, the commission is a judicial commission of inquiry into criminality, and that would be the criminality within specific institutions as are highlighted in the terms of reference. So the next paragraph, the next chapter, deals with that aspect of the terms of reference insofar as they've been found to exist, or it's alleged they exist, within the Metropolitan Police Department of Ekurhuleni.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Are you at page 21, Chief Mapie, of your statement?
That is correct, SC.
And at that page 21, you then start a new chapter called Criminal Activities by Members of the EMPD.
That is correct, SC.
Can you take us through the contents of that chapter? On my reading, you reference 5 criminal cases, and we will deal with each one in turn. You have numbered them accordingly. So if you could start at your paragraph 71. Thank you.
Thank you, SC, Commissioners. On page 21, that is the criminal activities committed by members of EMPD. Number 71, some members of EMPD are under investigation for various serious crimes, including murders. These cases involves the criminal conduct of 3 members of EMPD, and they are from a former team which was called SWAT, which is headed by Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I will highlight some of these cases below, but Commissioner Spies, who is also going to give much more details on this case. He will speak much more on those 4 or 5 cases.
Thank you. That then brings us to your first case.
The first case, how we manage, Commissioner, to pick up these cases.
Apologies, before you do that, you have a heading in respect of that case. Let's just put that heading on record and then you may proceed to address the commissioners in the manner you intended.
Case number 1, the case of theft, kidnapping, extortion, and defeating the ends of justice. That is case number 315-7-2022, which was opened in Benoni.
Thank you. You may then address the commissioners on what you wanted to say.
How we managed to pick up some of these cases, it was because of this blue light saga case. We had now to move to IPIT in pursuant of this case of the blue light saga. When we were then at IPIT, the executive head of IPIT, she then indicated to us that you came with this Blue Light Saga case. We've got a lot of other cases against your own members. So these are some of the cases which she then presented to us. At high level, she did not give us the statements by themselves because those cases were still being investigated by IPIT. So as I've indicated that Mr. Spies will go much more in detail with those cases, but that was the first case. I don't know whether I must go to the second case.
Perhaps just you have 2 small paragraphs in respect of that particular case on your statement. If we could just dispose of that before we move to the next case.
Page 21, paragraph 73, the above case which I've spoken about now. This case involves the conduct of 3 officers. I will leave it at that, the 3 officers. Then paragraph number 74, the 3 officers are alleged to have raided the Smoke and King supermarket,
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Shailan Dikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Swane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Khomoto A.G. Moeketsi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay.
Of those names, Commissioner Spies will also come and work on that area. He will be able to give.
I'm interested in the identity of the persons who are alleged to have committed these crimes.
The names?
Perhaps you have sought the Commission's guidance, and because my suggestion is there is a specific case opened and a case number is provided, which means that the identities have become public for all intents and purposes. On what basis are you withholding the identities?
Perhaps let me, in the meantime, ask the question while you resolve this issue. Have these people been charged, to your knowledge?
Okay, Commissioner, when we went to IPIT, these are the cases which, as I will still go through them in detail, which were highlighted to us. I know that others, the processes has taken place, and others are still pending amongst these cases.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I leave it to the chair.
Does that answer the question? The question is a direct one. Are you aware if the alleged offenders have been criminally charged? Are there charges already or not?
The first one I spoke about, commissioners. Charges were laid and the process of disciplinary proceeding.
Leave out the disciplinary proceedings. And the substance or essence of the question by Commissioner Baloyi concerns the issue that normally you do not divulge the details of a person before they have actually been charged. And that's about the person being charged criminally. It has nothing to do with disciplinary processes within, or rather at the workplace. Do you get this now? So just focus on whether the people have been charged. Are there criminal charges? That's the point of substance.
Departmentally, they were charged.
No.
Criminally, I do not have the outcome whether the DPP finally decide to prosecute or not.
All right, no, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for that response. You do indicate that Commissioner Spies will deal with in more detail with the cases that you reference. So I will suggest that we reserve the question for Commissioner Spies. He might have the answer that the commissioners require and the answer to my question. He would know whether or not charges were laid against these perpetrators and what has since become of the criminal cases. So on that basis, I will accept that because you don't know, you do not then have to inadvertently disclose the names of people, identities of people in circumstances where you are not confident that they have appeared in court and had charges laid against them formally. Okay.
Thank you, Asi.
Before my colleague Commissioner Baloyi asks another question, then you sought direction from us. The direction is that leave out the names. Thank you.
My question now is about the disciplinary process. You say that was instituted. What was the outcome?
Commissioners, one finally resigned during the process. Two others are back in the system. I know that they were dismissed, but they are back in the system in the metropolis.
And do you know the circumstances of them being back at work? Were they re-employed? Did they go to court to challenge their dismissals and reinstated? That's a question I'm asking.
I think, Commissioner, the details will be given by Commissioner Spies. I don't want to preempt on that one, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioners. If we turn over leaf then at page 22, Chief Mapie, you deal with your second case, and on the basis of the guidance you received from the commissioners, you may read the detail of that case, but without articulating the names of the alleged perpetrators. Thank you.
On page 22, the second case, it's case number 72 of 8/2022, which was a marathon theft, copper theft.
Apologies, Chief Mapie. Please read that correctly. You called it a...
Okay.
Please read it correctly.
Thanks, Essie. It's a Marathon theft copper case. Case number 72 of 8/2022. This case involves the conduct of 3 officers
and this is the same 3 officers involved in the Benoni case.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. We won't go beyond the same other descriptor or description.
Please continue.
The third case...
No, Chief Mapie, you haven't completed what this case is about. So you said the case involves the conduct of 3 officers. You may skip the names, but please indicate what the case itself is about.
This case, it alleges that the officers have robbed the premises of the complainant in Merton. Here, I don't have the details of exactly which was taken from there. So that is the case number.
Understood, accept. Thank you. You may proceed to the next.
The third case, Commissioners, is a murder case which took place in Brakpan, committed during April 2022. This case involves the death of a male in Brakpan and the subsequent disposal of his body in Nigel Maryvale Dam, where it was subsequently recovered by SAPS. Once again, the 3 officers were implicated in this case.
Chief Mapie, this one you don't have a case number. It just says Brakpan. Is it, what does that mean? That you don't have a case number here?
It's very interesting, Commissioner, because even when we went to IPID, we were not given the case number. But with the further developments, I will believe that Commissioner Spies ought to have received now the case number of this case.
Thank you.
Please continue, Chief.
The fourth one is a Bedfontein truck theft under false pretenses. That is case number 86 of 2/2023. This case involves the conduct of 2 officers. It's the same officers whom were involved in the others, but this one, instead of them being 3, here there were 2 of those same officers who were involved in this matter. It concerns a hijacking of a truck on the N12 highway and a theft of its load. That's the high-level summary I can give to that.
Thank you.
As I move to the
Please proceed
the last
to
one.
The last one.
The next case is a theft of precious stones impersonating Hawks police officers. That is case number 79703/2023, which took place in Hillbrow. This case involves the conduct of at least 2 of our officers. From the 3, 1 was not part of that. I cannot confirm he was not part of it because he could have been there. But on the initial stage, I can confirm 2. And also, yes, the 2 of them. This case was involve our officers gaining access to the complainant's property in Killarney, Johannesburg, under the false pretenses, claiming they were there to investigate lithium smuggling and then proceeding to rob him of 54 kg of certain semi-precious stones. It became...
Apologies, Chief. There is some words in parentheses at the end of that paragraph. I don't know if it's sagilite or
that
sagilite.
Is sugarlite stones.
Sugarlite, it's called sugarlite stones.
Yes.
Personally, do you know what kind of precious stones those are? Or?
Commissioners, I've seen a picture of those, but I'm not an expert in knowing exactly what kind of a stone is that, but I've seen a picture of those.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed.
Paragraph number 82, I became aware of this case when a letter of demand was served on me during August 2023 by the complainant's attorney advising of the intention to institute legal proceeding against the Minister of Police and EMPD, demanding payment of 45 million rands in damages. That is when I became aware of further development about this case. Paragraph number 83. A copy of this letter is attached, marked JM24.
If I may, Chief Mapie, your JM24 that you reference in that paragraph, if you refer to the bigger file, the file of annexures, it appears at page 112. If I could have you open it, please. Have you located it? 112. And it's marked JM24, as you state in your paragraph.
Excuse me, I've got it, SC.
Okay, then we can go back, deal with the contents of your paragraph 83, and to the extent necessary, you can cross-reference to the annexure. Thank you.
Page 23 on paragraph 83. A copy of this letter is attached, marked as JM24. Attached to the letter are still pictures of the accused members extracted from the house CCTV footages. In these pictures, the members are clearly identifiable. Unfortunately, I do not have access to the original letter with color pictures. IPID was, however, provided with a color photographs and have this in their docket.
And your JM24 has got annexures starting from page 117, which unfortunately are in black and white, and we cannot make out anything. Could you turn to 117? And it would take you up to page 122. Now, you state that the original letter had color pictures, and from those pictures you could clearly identify the members of the EMPD who perpetrated this crime. Correct?
That is correct, SC.
But that the original and the color photos have been submitted to IPID.
That is correct, SC.
To the extent that you can recall, looking at the copies that we have, do you confirm that if we obtained the color photos that were submitted to you, we would draw the same conclusions? We would see what you want us to see, which we cannot, on the current annexures because they're in black and white.
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. And now that is your fifth and last case that you gave example of.
That is correct, SC.
You may continue.
On paragraph 84, notwithstanding Brigadier Mkhwanazi's retain these members in his team, and they continue to operate as EMPD members. 85, the three members implicated in all these serious crimes are part of Brigadier Mkhwanazi's Specialized Services Unit, including officer.
Don't say the name.
The
please.
name I just keep at the time of the commission of these crimes that has since resigned from the service. On paragraph 86, as Commissioner Spies will elaborate further during his testimony, the disciplinary processes initiated against these members were continuously frustrated internally, and they were reassigned to their substantive positions and their service weapons restored to them.
Thank you, Chief Mapie. That then concludes your chapter on criminal activities committed by members of the EMPD. Before we move to the next, is there anything you would like to draw to the attention of the commissioners in respect of that chapter? Thank you.
Not for now, SC. I'm comfortable with what the level of the cases have highlighted. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Mapie. That then brings us to your next topic, which you title Referrals of Matters to IPID. And you started page 24 with that.
On page 24?
Yes. Now, yes. Under that heading, you start with describing who IPID is. So you may read the paragraph into the record, but I request that for our purposes, it's not necessary to run through the provisions of Section 28 of the IPID Act that you have reproduced here under. Thank you.
Thank you, SC. Thank you, Commissioners. On paragraph number 87, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, that is IPID, is established in terms of the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Act 1 of 2011, the IPID Act, Section 28 of IPID Act prescribed that IPID must investigate.
And then you proceed to extract directly from Section 28 to enumerate the type of matters that that IPID is required to investigate. And you confirm that what you list there is taken directly from Section 28 of the IPID Act.
Any death in
Chief Mapie, after you say Section 28 of the IPID Act prescribes that IPID must investigate, you see the rest of what is in that paragraph is in italics. Do you see that?
That is correct, SC.
My question to you is, do you confirm that what is in italics you have extracted directly from Section 28 of the IPID Act?
That is correct, SC.
So those are not exactly your words. You took them out of the Act.
That is correct, SC.
If that is so, I am suggesting that it is not important to read out and go through every detail of what Section 28 provides.
Thank you, SC.
I will then invite you to turn the page to page 25 in paragraph 88, and which then deals with the substance of your testimony. Thank you.
On page 25, paragraph 88, The IPID Act, until it was amended in 2024, it did not apply to members of the Municipal Police Service. During 2021, IPID, SAPS, and the various municipal police services concluded a memorandum of understanding in terms of the municipal police services will be subject to the IPID Act. I have attached a marked JM25, a copy of the memorandum concluded with EMPD.
And that memorandum, you've marked JM25, appears in the big file at page 123. And just for the record, I'll read the heading of that memorandum. It's called Memorandum of Understanding Regarding Cooperation Between the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID, the South African Police Service, SAPS, and Municipal Metropolitan Police Services, MPS, to comply with the Independent Police Investigative Directorate Act 2011, Act 1 of 2011. Do you so confirm?
That is correct, SC.
And you indicate at your paragraph 88 that it is in terms of this memorandum that the EMPD as Metropolitan Police Service is subjected to the power of IPID in terms of the Act.
That
it extended those powers.
That is correct, SC.
I would like to invite you to look at the same document at page 147. In fact, I think let's start at 145.
I've got it, SC.
At page 145, it's a document titled Certificate of Approval and Undertaking to Comply and Adhere to the MOU. You see that?
I can see that, SC.
And at the bottom, it appears to be signed at Pretoria, IPID office on the 18th of February 2021. And there's a signature above the provision for signature by an executive director, IPID.
That is correct, SC.
If you turn over, lift to page 146. It's a similar document, but at the bottom, it seems to be it's signed by somebody else. General National Commissioner, South African Police Service, KJ Sithole, in brackets SOEG, and it is dated Pretoria, the 9th of March, 2021.
That is correct, SC.
And then if we turn over leaf, at page 147, that too is a similar certificate with, and this is at the bottom signed by the chief executive, and then it says in brackets, parentheses, name of Metropolitan Council. It's got a stamp, M.I. Mashazi, and then it's got a signature next to that stamp. And that seems to have been executed on the 22nd day of November 2021, correct?
That is correct, SC.
Now, the chief executive officer there, at the bottom, it doesn't indicate that is the chief executive officer of the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Department. That we find in the same document, in the body of that document, where there is provision for the specific Metropolitan Police Department to fill in the detail on signature of this Memorandum of Understanding. And that tells us that this was executed by M.I. Mashazi on behalf of EMPD, Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. Do you confirm?
That is correct, SC.
Now, your pages 148, 149, 150, and all the way to 155 are similar certificates intended to be signed by different officials, but are unsigned. The first being the Chief Executive Officer for the relevant Metropolitan Council. But that certificate is not concluded and it's not signed. You see that?
That is correct, SC.
And that.
Okay, Selok, is it not because Ekurhuleni only keeps its copy? So Johannesburg would have its own copy, which is signed by the CEO of the Joburg Metro.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo, for reading my mind. And that was the point to be made, that insofar as Ekurhuleni is concerned, all the necessary signatories have executed this document and have signed it. Thank you. Okay, now that we have acquainted ourselves with the MOU, and we understand from your paragraph 88 the effect of that MOU, I ask you to revert then to your statement at page 25, and we deal with your testimony from paragraph 89.
Thank you, SC. Page 25, paragraph 89. From November 2021, therefore, IPID investigates all conduct of members of EMPD that falls within the terms of Section 28 of the IPID Act.
Please continue.
Paragraph 90, IPID is currently seized with at least 9 investigations in respect of Ekurhuleni involving crime committed by members of EMPD as far back as 2022. Unfortunately, and for reasons that are not clear, IPID has not able to progress these matters to the stage of prosecution. Paragraph number 91, the majority, if not all, of these matters are being investigated by a gentleman in IPID Act. I've reserved the name for now.
Please don't. That's a public official who's executing his duty. Thank you.
The majority, if not all, of these matters are being investigated by Thulani Makakula at IPID. Paragraph number 92. I, on numerous occasions, raised concerns with the Executive Director of IPID, Ms. Ntlanseng, regarding the conduct of the IPID investigator, Mr. Makakula. In particular, regarding his persiveness and close relationship with Brigadier Mkhwanazi, as well as victimization of myself and the witnesses in these cases. The lack of progress in IPD investigation was also a source of concern. I continuously sought a meeting with the head of IPID to address these matters.
You continue at page 26 from paragraph 93.
Yes, SC.
Please proceed, Chief.
On page 26, 93, paragraph 93, I attach WhatsApp communications between myself and Ms. Ntlanseng over a period of from the 5th of March 2023 to to 11th September 2024. On these matters marked MJ26, these efforts yielded no results. Paragraph number 94. On 26 January 2024, I addressed a letter to Ms. Ntlatseng requesting a meeting, the purpose of which was to discuss interference in ongoing matters by Mr. Makakula. I attach a copy of that letter marked JM27.
On that annexure, it's to be found at page 174 of the big file. Have you located it?
I've got it, I see.
JM27 appears to, as you state in your paragraph, to be a letter addressed to Ms. DJ Ntlatseng, Executive Director, IPID, and it states on its face, from IJ Mapiyeye, Municipal Police Commissioner, Chief of Police, EMPD. And at the bottom, it's got provision for signature by IG Mapiyeye, Municipal Police Commissioner, Chief of Police, EMPD. Do you confirm all that?
That is correct, SC.
There is a signature appearing above the line where your name IJ Mapiyeye appears. Is that your signature?
That's my signature, SC.
This letter is dated the 26th of January 2024. And could you read it's a brief letter, relatively, and can I invite you to read the contents of this letter into the record? Thank you.
The heading, request for meeting, interference in ongoing cases, matters, EMPD. Dear ED, I need to bring the following matters under your attention. During 2023, I personally reported to you that one of your investigators, Mr. Makakula, reported in person to the city manager of the city of Ekurhuleni, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, that myself and the Deputy Commissioner Spies are the people who are pushing the IPID investigation into J. Mkhwanazi's case. EMPD, while nothing could be further from the truth. Paragraph number 2, it is a known fact that IPID has various investigations and cases still pending against J. Mkhwanazi, which some are not concluded yet. It has come to my attention that Mr. Makakula have had numerous meetings with J. Mkhwanazi on sidelines at Boksburg EMPD precinct. Last meeting between them was on Friday, the 19th of January 2024. I, as the Chief of Police and Head of Metro Police, have not been informed or have any knowledge of these meetings, and also do not receive any progress feedback on existing matters. The engagement of Makakula and Mr. J. Mkhwanazi has got the potential of jeopardizing the cases against Mr. Mkhwanazi. I therefore request a meeting with you, whereby we can discuss this matter further and a way forward on handling this. Your considered noting is appreciated. then I append my signature there.
Thank you, Chief. This letter is dated the 26th of January 2024. And you specifically in this letter, having raised the concerns that you had as the Chief of Police EMPD, requested a meeting with the Executive Director of IPID. Two questions. Did the Executive Director furnish you with any written response to this letter?
There was no written response, SC, but we had a telephonic engagement, myself with her.
Yes.
Where we then discussed the involvement of this gentleman, Makakula. And then she promised me and indicated that she is going to remove him from the investigation in the Eastern Region side.
Yes. Now, the letter is dated 26 January 2024. Would you have a recollection as to when you had this telephonic conversation with the Executive Director of IPID firstly, and who was the initiator of that telephone conversation? Was it yourself or was it the Executive Director of IPID?
She called me after I've sent this letter to her.
And would you recall how much after you had sent the letter, or I know it's January 24, so you might not have a recollection, but did you consider that she had delayed in calling you, or as you remember things, was it a relatively immediate response to your letter?
It was not long after I've sent this letter to her that she called me.
Now, you say in that conversation she undertook to address the challenges you have raised in the letter? Did you say that?
That is correct, SC.
And secondly, that she undertook to replace Mr. Magagula as the investigator for the Eastern Region?
That is correct, SC.
I appreciate that you were suspended in September 2024. Prior to your suspension, are you aware of her delivery of the second promise in particular of replacing the investigator responsible for the Eastern Region?
SC, I will concur that she finally definitely sent someone to take over, especially this case of the Blue Light Saga. I think it was a captain from KZN, the surname is Kulu, who then took over these responsibilities in the Eastern Region.
You say particularly in respect of the Blue Light Saga. So the replacement of the investigator was only in relation to that particular case? Is that what you're suggesting? And not in respect of all the cases that you have referred to, particularly those that involve criminal conduct by members of the EMPD?
That I cannot confirm, SC, whether the others were still under Mr. Makakula or they were then also taken over by Kulu.
And perhaps just to quickly refer you to the EMPD report and to find, it's JM19. And your JM19 should be in the big file from page 101.
I've got it, SC.
And the signature page of that report is 103.
I've got it.
And I see the first signature there as attached above the name of Mr. W.M. Kulu, designation Special Investigator, IPID NSIT. And he appended his signature on the 1st of September, 2023.
I could see that, SC.
Okay, now, you indicated that the executive director of IPID responded to your request, at least by replacing the investigator in the Blue Lives Matter. I point out to you, however, that Mr. Tulu signed that report in 2023 already in September. And your letter that we're dealing with at page 174 to the executive director was issued only on the 26th of January 2024. Do you see that?
I see that and I understand it.
So would I be correct to say the involvement of Investigator Kulu in the Blue Lives Matter was not pursuant to your raising your concerns with the executive director? You raised the concerns after that investigator got involved?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. I then go back. Please go ahead. My apologies.
Must I also clarify this, SC?
Please do. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Kulu came even earlier, and then when this Blue Light saga started, then he left the province back to KZN. And then upon further engagement with myself and the ED, he came back again, Kulu, because in his absence, Mr. Makakula was then dealing with these matters as well.
For the record, the name is Ulu, X-U-L-U, and Chief Mapia says Ulu, which is Q-U-L-U. So the correct spelling is X-U-L-U. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
This is important for the transcription.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. I'm tempted to say that it's the Sotho group, the function of the Sotho group pronunciation that has the chief pronounce the name that way.
Yes.
But the correction is noted.
In fact, what I just said is inaccurate. When I say it's important for the transcription, it's also important for the person involved. Thank you.
Most importantly, yes. And thank you, Chair, for that correction and duly noted. So then, the discussion we're having is that Investigator Kulu got involved in the Blue Light Matter as an investigator before you raised your concerns at Annexure JM27 with the Executive Director of IPID.
That is correct, SC.
So his involvement did not arise as a result of the concerns you had expressed on the 26th of January 2024. It's completely unrelated. So you had explained that he had been involved, and if I understood you well, then he left the jurisdiction of Gauteng, went to KZN to live there, and I think you were suggesting that he subsequently came back. You recall that?
That is correct, SC.
Now, you had wanted to provide some clarification, having highlighted his movements in the manner that you did, I think before the Chair corrected the proper pronunciation of Investigator Kulu's name. So I invite you to state what you wanted, or to provide the clarification you had indicated you wanted to give. Thank you.
Thanks, SC. Commissioners, this gentleman, let me pronounce it properly, Kulu. He is working, according to my information, he is deployed in the KZN area. But he came specifically to come and assist with this Blue Light Saga story. At some stage, he then went back where he came from. In that vacuum, it's when, as well, Makakula was then in the picture. Until then, I forwarded as well the complaint to the ED of IPID.
Okay. As I did indicate, the letter is January 2024. You were suspended in September 2024. and we put aside how the case of the blue lights was dealt with by Inspector Kulu. Your testimony speaks of, or there are complaints leveled against the investigator, Mr. Magagula, who was handling other matters, as you have touched on in your statement, referred to IPID. My question to you, do you know if he was replaced on those matters before your suspension in September 24? Do you know or you don't know?
I wouldn't confirm that, SC, because there were other activities which also took place, or other arrests which took place in my absentia. So I wouldn't know who are the officers from IPID who are dealing with those cases currently.
Thank you for that clarification. Let's get back then to your statement. We are at page 28, and we now move on to paragraph 103.
May I just take, sorry,
yes,
can I just take you back to paragraph 92? And Chief, it's at page 25, paragraph 92, and I just want to make sure that I'm reading the paragraph correctly. You state in that paragraph your discussions or your concerns that you raised with Mr. Ntatseng of IPID, and then one of them is the perceived close relationship of Mr. Magagula with Mr. Mkhwanazi, and then this is the part you say, as well as victimization of myself and witness. Who are you saying, or who was victimizing you and the witness? It's not clear to me whether it's Mr. Magagula or it's Mr. Mkhwanazi in the way that this is written.
The victimization from myself, I think there is an area where I'm still going to address it in detail, Commissioner. But my witnesses who were dealing with this matter, because IPID cannot work in silos. They have to come to EMPD, Metropolis, to get the relevant information. All the members who were involved in assisting IPID with that investigation, they were dealt with by the city.
So you're not alleging that Mr. Magagula was victimizing you and witnesses. That's what I wanted to clarify.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. At paragraph 93, Chief, you introduce a series of WhatsApp messages, and you have those attached as Annexure JM26. Do you see that?
I could see that.
At the time you dealt with the contents of that paragraph, we did not have specific regard to the WhatsApp messages. In light of the question posed to you by Commissioner Baloyi, may I invite us to go to JM26, which may potentially have a more complete answer to the Commissioner's question. It is flagged JM26, and in terms of page numbering, it would start at page 168. Have you located the annexure?
I've got it, SC.
And this will go to page 173 from 168. Do you see that?
I could see that, SC.
So in all those pages, these appears to be, should I say, screenshots of WhatsApp communication between two telephones. Do you confirm?
That is correct, SC.
At the top of each page, it's got, it reflects the wording Jennifer IPID.
That is correct, SC.
What is that? What is meant by Jennifer IPID?
That's how I've saved her number on my phone.
Okay. Now, the communications as are reflected, some are in green and some are in white. Just to orientate us, when they are in green, who is the speaker? And when they're in white, who then is the speaker?
Commissioners, when they are in green, it's myself. When they are in white, it's HOD or ED.
Executive Director.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, just looking at them from page 168 to 170, the first date entry is 29 August 2024. In fact, I think is it 29 August 2024?
That's correct. I see 29 August 2024.
I correct myself. I called it the first entry, but the first page reflects the date of 29 August. As I go through the pages to 170, I realize that they seem to have been filed in historical order, in descending order. So the first page is not the first communication. It actually is the last communication.
That is correct. See, if I may assist your commission, that I think the first communication WhatsApp, it will be right at the end. This page on 168, it could be, it is the latest.
Yes. So the first communication actually starts at page 173.
That is correct, SC.
And that is dated the 5th of March, 2023.
That is correct, SC.
Okay. Perhaps just, I see that the first, you appear, you said green are your communications, you appear to be the initiator of this conversation.
That is correct, SC.
Can you just read the first green portion at page 173 that you posted on the 5th of March, 2023?
I said, hi, Executive HOD. My name is Jabu Mapiyeye, Chief of Police in Ekurhuleni. Could I please come to your office tomorrow, if available? I have got a pressing matter to discuss and be advised by yourselves, please. Thereafter, she responded.
Yes. And I see she responded positively, advising she will call, and then on the 6th of March, she provides the venue.
The 6th of March, good day, sir. The venue is Rodeport SAPS Station, Commander's Boardroom, 4th floor.
Yes. Then you respond to that.
My response, I will be there with my second in charge. Then she responded, I will be there with my senior team and Magagula.
For the record, is that the meeting you earlier referenced between EMPD and IPID, where you were going to discuss the issue of the blue lights, and you ended up with a report from IPID about the criminal cases that IPID is handling concerning members of the EMPD? Is that the meeting?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. Then working backwards onto the file, now go to page 172. And on this page, perhaps just to highlight the first message in green, which is your message.
That is correct, SC.
Please read that.
Morning, ED. It has been a while not communicating. I'm currently on leave, going back to work next week. Could I kindly have a meeting with your good self next week, please, regarding the challenges I am having with witnesses who are being victimized with regard to Mkhwanazi's case?
And then if we go to page 171.
Before that, just for clarity on the timing,
oh yes.
the last text or chat at page 173 was on the 7th of March 2023, and the one you've just read, in which you say that it's been a while not communicating, that's on the 16th of May 2024. The one you've just read was on the 16th of May 2024. That's just for the record. You confirm, though, that that is so.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and that is correct, because if you have regard to page 173, the last communication, according to that date stamp, appears to have been on the 7th of March 2023. The message you just read is dated the 16th of May 2024, so there was about more than a year of no communication between yourself and the Executive Director of IPID.
That is correct, Commissioner.
So technically, the question of victimization of witnesses, at least insofar as these WhatsApp messages are concerned, you introduced for the first time, it would appear in May 2024. Am I correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Then,
just for the record,
yes.
Advocate Silo, because these WhatsApp screenshots are not in sequence, 170 and 171 are 2023 WhatsApps. So
you are quite correct.
In between, there would have been even 169. You see that there's November 2023.
In fact, I think it is page 172 that is out of sync. So if we take out page 172, it actually should, then the rest follow, because that page, time-wise and date-wise, ought to be the page 169. So it's actually the first, if you look at the the date stamp. So it is that particular page 172 that is filed wrong. It's in the wrong place. Because if we apply the logic of reading from the last page coming forward, then the dates follow sequentially.
So on my reading, the last communication before 16 May 2024 is that 19 November on page 169.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
May our files be corrected then, please?
Yes, no, it was the ordering of the pages,
Yes,
I think that.
yes.
But just to move the one page for the record, 172, to locate it in its proper place in the file.
Yes.
And that will affect, then, will just be a change of numbering on successive pages.
Thank you, thank you.
And if I could just then quickly deal with your current page.
Or perhaps let's take the break before you move on to that and resume at 11:15. Let's adjourn.
And we'll take the opportunity to correct the pages. Thank you.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
On the top stories, Mkhunu has handed over his electronic devices to authorities, and Trump administration ordered to fully fund food aid. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good morning. Police Minister Senzo Mkhunu's handing over of his electronic devices to authorities is part of an ongoing investigation into KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations. According to Mkhwanazi, senior police officials, including Mkhunu, are corrupt, interfere in police operations, and have links to criminal syndicates. Mkhunu, who's on leave of absence, denied any wrongdoing when he appeared before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating Mkhwanazi's allegations last month. Kenny Mapanga reports.
placed on a leave of absence, that is Senzo Mchunu, has officially handed over his electronic devices, and he's done so voluntarily. We know that it's at least 5 electronic devices that were taken. That is the state-issued laptop that he has, as well as a personal tablet, or we could call it an iPad. And there's 2 unused old cell phones that they also took that were found in his possession, as well as his 1 active phone that he currently uses. That rounds up the people of interest that have been, I guess, raided, and their devices have been taken.
Former Public Enterprises Minister and ANC member of the NEC, Malusi Gigaba, will soon step aside from all party responsibilities. The National Prosecuting Authority has confirmed charging Gigaba in connection with irregularities in the procurement of multi-billion rand locomotives at Transnet. He will appear in the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court today on charges of corruption. Gigaba handed himself over to police in Pretoria this morning. Samkele Maseko reports.
These charges essentially relate to his tenure at Public Enterprises. We do also know that since he has been charged, he will appear at the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court. He will ultimately apply for bail, and he will, after applying for bail, assume that he will send a letter to the Secretary General of the African National Congress, Fikile Mbalula, recusing himself and stepping aside from all responsibilities as an elected National Executive Committee member of the African National Congress.
The City of Cape Town's Disaster Risk Management Centre says it has contacted Social Security Agency SASSA to request it to assist the victims of a fire in Wingfield in Fort Tracker Road in Maitland. The fire destroyed a tent that housed refugees. The Disaster Risk Management spokesperson Sonika Leitigan says 211 people were displaced.
The marquee tent on site was completely destroyed, along with several other structures used as kitchens. SASSA has been informed to provide assistance, and Gift of the Givers assisted with immediate humanitarian relief needs last night. Disaster Risk Management has activated its mobile joint operations center on site, and assessments will continue today to determine infrastructure damage and what repairs are needed.
A Harare magistrate has issued a warrant of arrest for Robert Mugabe Jr. after he failed to appear in court for his routine remand. He is the son of Zimbabwe's late former president Robert Mugabe and was arrested last month for unlawful possession of dagga. Mugabe Jr. is out on bail. A U.S. judge has ordered the Trump administration to fully fund food aid for tens of millions of Americans. Judge John McConnell said that without the aid, 16 million children would go hungry. The Department of Agriculture halted benefits for November, saying the program had no more funds because of the government shutdown. The U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has criticized the ruling.
It's an absurd ruling because you have a federal judge effectively telling us what we have to do in the midst of a Democrat government shutdown. Which what we'd like to do is for the Democrats to open up the government. Of course, then we can fund SNAP, and we can also do a lot of other good things for the American people. But in the midst of a shutdown, we can't have a federal court telling the president how he has to triage the situation. We're trying to keep as much going as possible.
Recapping the top story, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's handing over of his electronic devices to authorities is part of an ongoing investigation into KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations. I am Ondelambana for SAFM News, headlines at 11:30.
Afternoon Express is proud to be nominated in multiple categories at the 3rd Annual National Film and TV Awards taking place on Saturday, the 22nd of November. And you can add your voice by voting. Visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Afternoon Express in the Best Entertainment Show category, Palisa Tembe for Best TV Presenter, and myself, Ayanda Jitabete, for Best Female TV Personality and Celebrity Personality of the Year. Voting closes on the 20th of November at midday.
This November, SFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
And as the Freedom Charter says, no legitimate government could claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And I think sometimes people forget that.
SAFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi. The theme of the lecture is Confronting Inequality, Corruption and Unemployment, Rebuilding South Africa's Social Contract for Inclusive and Sustainable Growth. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
SAFM commemorates Disability Rights Awareness Month under the theme Celebrating 30 Years of Democracy, creating strategic, multi-sectoral partnerships for a disability-inclusive society. SAFM supports and works tirelessly towards equity and equality for those living with disabilities. Empowerment is key. Let us break the barriers and improve the quality of life for those living with disabilities. Our efforts towards a better life for those living with disabilities can only be impactful when we do so together. We do not tolerate any kind of discrimination. Disability Awareness Month 2025 on SAFM 104 to 107 FM nationwide, leading the conversations that move us.
SAFM Music, good times, good memories.
I'm just like somebody inspired.
Old school, sounding so good. SAFM Music, with you wherever you go.
Doing the right thing just got more rewarding from the 1st of November to the 31st of December. When you pay your TV license, that's your SABC TV license, we'll say thank you with a 50 Rand grocery voucher and more. It's our way of celebrating you for helping us to keep local stories and talent alive. Pay, wait for your SMS, and follow the instructions to claim your reward. Make sure your contact details are up to date so we can send your prize straight to you. TV licenses, pay yours, make a difference.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Shailan Dikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Swane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Homoto KG Moeketsi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Sundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Gerika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
All right, you're listening to The Talking Point. Welcome to the third and final hour of the show for this morning. So coming up then in this hour, we're going to be looking back at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. They're currently on a tea break, but should reschedule shortly. I think we did get our wires crossed in terms of Parliament today and what was happening there. It seems that there's in fact no sitting of Parliament this morning, and that Advocate Andrea Johnson concluded her evidence last night. It was quite late into the evening, and so I think that's part of where the miscommunication may have emanated from. So if you've been waiting for that, we do apologize for that. But we'll stay then with what is unfolding at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. In the meantime, though, lots of you reacting to different stories, including what is still on the go, which is the pending appearance of the former minister Malusi Gigaba before the courts on several charges. And this is in relation to matters at Transnet. So we'll take some of your WhatsApp voice notes and then take you back to the commission.
Good morning, Cathy. There is no link to what those who are charged for alleged transgression with regression. There is no link. Nobody has ever demonstrated that link. On the contrary, during those times, Transnet were recording record profits in the history of the country. It was Farmer's last annual financial statement. It is record volume. So they were doing well. They were on the up operationally. Transactions notwithstanding.
Cathy, good morning. It's Sonabo from Hermanas. You see, I just wonder why Malusi Gigaba and other ANC leaders, they always run to the Twitter or to the media and telling us that they have been patched politically. But when they are stealing from us, they don't tell us that they are stealing politically. And it's not only Gigaba. Utatu Chegisile, Utatu Jacob Zuma, Esma Khashule, Tony Yengene, Fikile Mbalula, the list is endless. And they must stop that nonsense because we're not all of us were fools. Thank you.
Good morning, Sis Cathy and your team. You know, Sis Cathy, the prosecution of those who were implicated in the Zondo Commission gives me hope that those who are implicated in the Madlanga Commission will also be prosecuted. Thank you.
Good morning, Cathy, and good morning to SAFM listeners. Cathy, I wish traffic officers, especially in Cape Town, Claremont, Wynberg, they listen. I wish they can give those guys who always park their cars in a loading zone. We are couriers, and the loading zone are so scarce. Now you have to wait, and then you have to beg the guy, but he parked on the loading zone. He's not a courier. He's nothing. He didn't do any deliveries. He just put the car in the loading zone. I wish they can give them the heavy fine so that they can learn. It's Honorable Magweka Ayakuban, a Western Cape coup. But now, the West Lali is Zile, Oma Constantia, Port Bay. The Amazon Lali is like,
Good morning, Cathy, your team, and the listeners. At least his plea bargain is a necessary step taken if you really want to get into the kingpins. The other person, the other candidate for the plea bargain for me is actually Cathy Mohlahlana. If the state is wise enough, they must give Cathy Mohlahlana plea bargain amnesty, and with that, South Africa will get to the bottom of all the rotten government officials. Thank you.
Ausket, good morning. It's Kosnada speaking here. My sister Luke, I think we owe Mr. Mkhwanazi a lot because he indeed shed a big light for the South Africans. Indeed, because when you look at these witnesses that are coming, they are witnessing what General Mkhwanazi told us. Look at the issue of that police, Metro Police, JMPT police. What is happening there? That particular man is giving exactly what General Mkhwanazi told us about the corruption between that police and Cathy Mohlahlana. Hey.
Hashtag SFM Talking Point.
specifically, it's his WhatsApp message dated the 6th. There's a particular email because of the confusion in page numbering. I'm not sure. WhatsApp that I'm not sure that I dealt with. But specifically, it's his WhatsApp message dated the 16th of May, 2024. Did I do it? If I dealt with it, I apologize for the repetition. We did.
Page 172.
The one at page 172. Yes. Commissioner Khumalo assures me that we dealt with that.
Yes, in 169.
Yes, it does.
At the bottom.
At the bottom.
Page.
And that we dealt with. Okay, then I invite you to page 168. And this now is a message, according to this document, you sent to the executive director on the 4th of September 2024. It's the first on that page. Do you see that?
That is correct, SC.
Can you read that message into the record?
The one which was on the 4th of September 2024?
Yes.
Good afternoon, ED. Could we kindly secure an urgent meeting between me and your good selves, even on Teams? It's not about my case, which is making headlines. It's about our EMPD outstanding cases.
Thank you. To the question then that Commissioner Baloyi had asked about who was being intimidated and about witnesses being intimidated and by who, we went through the WhatsApp chats in a bid to provide an answer to that question, which I trust we have. Commissioner Baloyi, does that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Chief Mapie, then at page 26 of your statement now, the small file. We are at paragraph 95.
I've got it, SC.
That's a concluding paragraph on this subject that we are dealing with. If you could deal with the contents of paragraph 95.
Thank you, SC. Page 26, paragraph 95. On the 6th of March 2023, we held a meeting with IPID, which I attended with inter alia Commissioner Spies. At this meeting, IPID had given us a report on all cases then under investigation by whom involving members of EMPD. A total of 7 criminal cases were being investigated at the time of this meeting. No progress, but for the blue light case, has been achieved in these cases. Instead, one more case has been added to the list. One involving extortion, kidnapping, and theft in Boksburg by 6 officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit, reporting to Brigadier Dion Singh, who in turn reports to Brigadier Mkwanazi.
And was that the state of affairs at the date that you were suspended on the 25th of September 2024? Was that where things stood?
Except the recent one, which is added, that one more case that has been added to the list. One involving extortion, kidnapping, and theft in Boksburg by 6 officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit. This is recent, as I was already on suspension, so it was not there.
Also now, what you're saying is you've since become aware of an added case
that is
to
correct,
the IPID cases you discussed with the executive director. And this is the case you reference of extortion, kidnapping, and theft in Boksburg. But the point you make is that that case arose after your suspension in September 2024.
That is correct, SC.
Thank you, duly noted. That then concludes that chapter of referrals of matters, EMPD matters to IPID. We move still on then page.
Before you move on,
I thought the substance of Ms. Sidlo's question, but she will correct me. I thought the substance of her question was whether, as at the time you were suspended, the lack of progress endured all the way right up to when you were suspended, leaving aside the question of the addition of a new matter, but the lack of progress on the investigation of those matters endured throughout.
That's correct, Chair, and I thought he had answered, but please specifically address yourself to the question as reposed by the Chair.
Oh, yeah, I just heard him talk about the additional case, and I didn't.
I think he was trying to draw a distinction, because the two facts are set out in the same paragraph. Please address the question
directly, please. Thank you.
Without reference to this extra case.
Thank you, Commissioner. Until such time that I was then sent on suspension, that was the state of the cases.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We move then, Chief Mapie, to your next topic, which you term attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and you deal with this from page 26 of your statement, the small file.
On page 26, I see.
You start at paragraph 96 with a statement that all your attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi were frustrated, right?
That is correct, I see.
Please tell the commissioners about your attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi and how the attempts to so discipline him, you contend, were frustrated.
Thank you, commissioners. On page 26, paragraph 96, all my attempts to discipline Brigadier Mkhwanazi were frustrated by the city manager, Dr. Emoji Mashazi, the HOD Human Resource, that is Linda Plasheka, and HOD Legal Services, that is Advocate Bihare. In fact, these attempts led me to be suspended on numerous occasions, culminating in disciplinary charges in November 2024.
Please proceed.
On page 27, paragraph 97. On the 24th of February, Brigadier Mkhwanazi was placed on suspension with this case of the blue light salga. On the 3rd of March 2023, and based on the outcome of our internal investigation, I determined that the misconduct complaint, it was of a serious nature. I attach Annexure JM28, a copy of that determination. On 23rd March 2023, I requested that disciplinary tribunal be established. This was approved on the 12th of April 2023.
Can you just clarify which misconduct are you referring to? And the reason I'm asking is the IPID report is dated October-November 2023. And here we are in February-March 2023. So I just want to understand which misconduct you are referring to in this paragraph.
Thank you, Commissioner. We don't have investigative powers as Metropolis, but we've got an internal affairs which deals with our internal investigation with regards to the misconduct of officers or employees in the Metropolis. So that process has taken its course already, whilst the other process went to IPID, where they finally as well liaised with the NPA.
Are you saying it was the same issue?
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. Please proceed.
And I'm sorry,
Yes.
and when you say this was approved, that is your determination that misconduct proceedings be initiated. So when you say this was approved on 12 April 2023, who approved?
Chief Mapie, through you, Chair, before you respond, you reference a document there, JM 28.
Okay.
Perhaps if you go to JM 28, you will be better able to pointedly respond to the chairperson's question and in part also answer the question posed by Commissioner Khumalo. In the big file at page 176, is this JM 28, which you call a copy, which you call your determination the misconduct complaint of was a serious nature. Do you see that?
I've got it, SC.
Okay. The question posed to you is you state at paragraph 97 that this was approved, your request to establish a disciplinary tribunal, and that this was approved on the 12th of April 2023. The chair wants to know who approved.
Thank you, SC. Commissioners, as I've indicated that we've got our internal process, I approve that. Thereafter, it goes to labor relations, who then take the process forward with regard to disciplinary proceedings.
In regard to this JM 28, if you start at page 175, I see that it is addressed to DH Employee Relations ex NISA.
That is
and it would
correct.
appear to be from you.
That is
Chief
correct,
Mapie.
SC.
The heading is Request for Disciplinary Tribunal.
That is correct, SC.
That is the request for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal that you reference at paragraph 97.
That is correct, SC.
Overleaf at page 176. It starts with a recommendation that appears to be signed by you, and you have indicated that you are requesting the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal.
That is correct, SC.
It appears it was intended to be recommended by Human Resources. It's not completed, that section. But at the bottom, under the heading Approval DH Employee Relations, there is a signature and a date. Could you state who signed there and what the effect of that signature is?
This was signed, that is page 176. It was signed on the 12th of April 2023 by the Divisional Head Employee Relations.
And is that the person to whom the request was made?
That is correct, SC.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. That clarifies it.
Then after it was approved, you move on to what happened from your page 98. Sorry, your paragraph 98. Please deal with that.
On page 27.
Apologies, Chief. I think Commissioner Baloyi has a question.
Yeah, still on that document. I think when you started, Ms. Silo, you had said it may partly answer also the question from Commissioner Khumalo, which I was interested in, and this is about the charges that were listed. Should those not be mentioned to the record?
Oh,
at page 175.
Yes, it was. Perhaps we could, Commissioner Khumalo had tried to understand the relation between the determination he seems to have, Chief Mapie made, to the IPID report, which comes at a later date, I think, end of 2023.
Okay.
And this, when Chief Mapie indicated that the determination that he references at paragraph 97 concerns internal processes of the EMPD. Okay. And perhaps I could inquire from Commissioner Khumalo whether that answers the query that the Commissioner had.
My query was answered. I think what concerned me was some of the allegations leveled against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Some of them related to the memoranda, the two memoranda we dealt with yesterday, and the State of the City address in 2022, and various other things. So looking at paragraph 97 in the statement, where Chief says, I determined that the misconduct complained of was of a serious nature. It was not clear to me whether he's referring to the issue of the blue lights or the use of cat protection services and the two memoranda that were concluded in 2022. So
I'm clarified, and yes, that specificity is missing. So perhaps, Chief Mapie, with reference to JM 28, you indicate the nature of alleged misconduct. Firstly, please specify which misconduct in particular does this document apply to, and then read into the record the nature of the alleged misconduct as you held on that date of the 24th of February 2023. So let's answer the first question. You had Commissioner Khumalo reminded that the number of complaints that you previously raised, including this State of the City address issues, the blue light saga, the conclusion of, or the deployment of CAT VIP services. So just so we are clear, the determination you made in February 24th of February, 3rd of March 2023, in relation to which incident does that determination apply?
Thank you, SC Commissioners. This started from the incident of the Blue Light saga. That is where the issues of misconduct will then be directed to the department to do that investigation. It also includes the issues of operational plans, which was altered, and the deployment, which was, it didn't follow procedures. So it is on page 176 on the main file, on the big file, those alleged misconduct.
You mean page 175?
175.
And perhaps
right at the bottom.
Yes, and maybe Chief read those into the record where the charges were.
Allegations to fail to perform his duties.
Sorry, Chief, before you do, there is a heading.
Yes.
That perhaps you should start with, and then you read what you have set out in that box.
The nature of alleged misconduct attached relevant documents. So there were relevant documents which were attached, but the first one was allegations of fail to perform his duties diligently and to the best of his ability. The next one was allegation of gross dishonesty. The next one was gross negligence. The next one was allegation of conduct relating to honesty and integrity. The last one was bringing SEO and EMPD into disrepute.
Please read the last one. Again, I think you misread.
Bringing COE and EMPD into disrepute.
Thank you. You had read it as CEO.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi.
I think maybe for the record, page 180 answers my question. Because it's very clear from paragraph 2 of page 180 what is the misconduct referred to,
Yes.
which led to the suspension.
I agree with you, Commissioner Khumalo, and we will note, but perhaps it's a document you have also included, but you deal with it in your later paragraphs. We will get to it, and you will deal specifically with this annexure. So you don't have to address it now, lest we confuse ourselves, if that's okay, Chief Mapie.
Thank you.
Are you okay with that? Okay. That then takes us to your paragraph 98 at page 27.
Page 27, paragraph 98. A prosecutor was appointed and 6 charges were drawn against Brigadier Mkhwanazi in terms of the Disciplinary Procedure Collective Agreement, Circular 1 of 2018. A disciplinary hearing must be held within 3 months of the decision to institute proceedings. Paragraph number 99, there were delays in receiving the charge sheet on Brigadier Mkhwanazi. On 24th of May, 2023, Ms. Tsasheka, the HOD, HR, uplifted Brigadier Mkhwanazi's suspension with immediate effect and directed him to resume duty. In paragraph 100, upon his return, I deployed him to EMPD Operations Bylaw Enforcement Unit until the disciplinary case is finalized. In light of the serious charges he faced, I considered his return to his substantive post undesirable. I attach a copy of this redeployment letter marked J29. On paragraph 101, on the 15th of June 2023, HOD Human Resource Linda Kashega challenged my decision by deploying Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and she directed that he be deployed back to his substantive position. A letter of this is attached and marked J30. I responded to this letter on the 20th of June 2023, advising Ms. Kasheka that I, as the Chief of Police, had the power in terms of Section 64C of the SEPS Act to transfer members of the service in the EMPD, and a copy of this letter is attached, marked JM31.
Yes.
Paragraph 101, 102, on the 21st of June 2023, and the following discussion initiated by Ms. Kasheka and Advocate HOD Biare, HOD Legal Services, I was pressurized to hand over the docket relating to Brigadier Mkhwanazi to Advocate Biare, who is the head of Legal Corporate. This I did as per my memorandum to Advocate Biare, dated the 21st of June 2023, a copy of which is attached and marked JM32.
On that score, if then I could invite you to page 180 of the big file. That is the document that Commissioner Khumalo referred to previously, and I said you will get to as you work through your statement. Commissioner Khumalo, perhaps then, with reference to this annexure, you may make your comments or pose the question to the witness.
Chief, in paragraph 97 of your statement, you said on 3 March 2023, and based on the outcomes of internal investigations, I determined that the misconduct complained of was of a serious nature. So my question was, which misconduct are you referring to in your statement? And based on the document that we see on page 180, it appears that the misconduct referred to is the one relating to the use of blue lights, because you say in paragraph 2 of your letter, on 2 February 2023, allegations of very serious misconduct, and I emphasize the words very serious misconduct, were received from the media, and then there was a subsequent internal investigation. Would that be a fair summary of what you had in mind in paragraph 97 of your statement?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Can I just check that though? If you look at that letter, and I'm just checking if what you have just agreed to is correct. If you look at that same letter, in the next paragraph, the third paragraph, you say the investigation revealed prima facie evidence, and the docket was scrutinized and signed off by me as Chief of Police. The officer was formally suspended on the 24th for a period of 3 months. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding of your evidence is that the suspension was not just for the blue lights issue. It was, you suspended him for the misconduct that we've just looked at page 175, where the tribunal was approved. Am I misunderstanding your evidence, Chief?
That is correct, Commissioner, but in the process, there is also the investigation which then needs to take place, including the blue light story, because once we have received that media communication, there is further investigation which then need to take place, which will include the blue light issues as well.
Chief Mape, may I pose this question perhaps for clarity? When you say media inquiry, what specifically are you talking about? The communication forwarded by the journalist, Mr. Jeff Wicks, around the blue light, the use of blue lights. Is that what you are referencing?
That is correct, SC.
To your recollection, did he reference any other alleged misconduct besides what we just colloquially call the blue light saga?
On that media clip, Commissioners, there were other issues which were also raised. The receiving of donation and the registration of vehicles, which we needed to identify immediately after we received that query from the media. There were vehicles which, when you test it on the system, it will indicate that it is an EMPD vehicle, but utilized by an external someone.
Okay.
So it was a mixture of all those kind of issues and allegations which we needed to investigate.
So then, would my understanding be correct that this whole process was triggered by an inquiry into the use of blue lights, but then it was beyond just the use of blue lights and involved other misconduct? Am I correct?
That is exactly correct, SC.
And when you requested the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal, it was for purposes of investigating all these complaints and the different misconducts, not just the use of blue lights. Am I correct?
That is correct, SC.
And so when he was suspended, as you state in your statement, it was for all these incidents of misconduct.
That is correct, Essie, because as I've indicated even yesterday, that when he submitted his statement, the initial statement to the acting chief by then, who was Commissioner Spies, he implicated himself on a lot of other issues which we spoke about yesterday.
Yes.
Perhaps, Ms. Sillo, on the focus of the journalists' questions, we should look at the annexure itself and not just rely on the chief's recollection. I'm by no means impugning your recollection, Chief.
Absolutely.
Yes. Please guide us. Which annexure is it?
I will find it now. Chief, what we are doing, the chair would like you to address yourself to these issues with reference specifically to the inquiry as was received from the journalist. You understand? So I'm going to locate that annexure, and I will request that you answer all questions with reference to that annexure. I think you did not annex the actual inquiry from.
Is it?
So
it was.
And here is, yes. If we have regard to paragraph 39 of his statement, he says during or about February 2023, the EMPD received an inquiry from a journalist, Mr. Jeff Wicks, regarding the use of blue lights in civilian vehicles with the seeming approval of the EMPD. At the time of this inquiry, I was on leave, and the Deputy Chief of Police Auxiliary and Support Services, Commissioner Rivo Spies, who was appointed the acting Chief of Police in my absence, took charge of this inquiry and initiated investigations into the allegations. So this was handled by Commissioner Spies, and at 42, Chief Mapie then says, upon my return from leave, Commissioner Spies made a report to me on this matter, advising that flowing from his investigations, he had referred the matter to Internal Affairs Unit in the Compliance Division, as well as to IPID. So that's as far as he takes it. Commissioner Spies, I can confirm, deals with this in more detail, providing the annexures.
I seem to recall seeing the...
It's from reading the other statement.
Yes. From reading...
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
So we confirm that you didn't annex to your papers the actual inquiry received from the journalist. So we will not be taking you there. You are, what we are currently dealing with are the steps you took after you had received a report from Commissioner Spies, who had handled the entire investigation in your absence while he was acting Chief of Police. Is that correct?
That is correct, Essie.
Okay. So we were still at page 180, and that is your annexure JM33. And that is the letter that you had written to Advocate K. Bihari, HOD Corporate Legal Services, and Ms. Kasheka, the HOD Human Resources. You recall that?
That's correct, I recall, Essie.
And you had testified that the disciplinary tribunal you had requested be established was in respect of various misconducts that had been unearthed in the course of internal investigations against Brigadier Mkhwanazi.
That is correct, Essie.
And that they were not restricted to the use of blue lights.
That is correct, Essie.
So, and I think that then I think is a complete answer to the clarification that Commissioner Khumalo sought. But staying with the same annexure, I would like you to turn to page 181. And you do recall that at paragraph 99, if you could go there at page 27, you indicated that there were delays in serving the charge sheet on Brigadier Mkwanazi. You remember that part?
That is correct, SC.
Now, with reference then to Annexure JM33, that starts at 180, but specifically at 181, kindly read from the three paragraphs after you quote section 711. The first paragraph would start with the words, taking into consideration. You see that?
I could see that, SC.
If you could read the remainder of the letter into the record.
Taking into consideration of the above stipulation, it means that the charge sheets must be served on or before the 22nd of June 2023. This delay is of great concern as the alleged misconduct was exposed by the media, a very senior officer involved, and if is of such a serious nature that it will permanently damage not only the reputation of EMPD, but also of the city of Ekurhuleni, should the postponement of serving the charge sheets be furthermore postponed. A perception is also created that the officer involved and the very serious misconduct exposed are being protected and swept under the carpet. For your considered noting, agent attention and way forward is appreciated. Thank you. That's regards signed by myself.
Having introduced this annexure, Annexure JM32, going back to your statement then at 103, you deal with what transpired next. Firstly, was there a response, most importantly, a written response to your letter that is marked JM32 that we have just dealt with, dated the 21st of June 2023? Was there a written response from the addressees, both Advocate K. Behari and Ms. L. Kasheka, who were the people to whom we had addressed this letter? Did any one of them respond?
I didn't see anything on the bundle, but I've came across a document where Kemi Behari responded the following day that he needs a meeting with the ED of IPID and myself in order to address issues of protocols, that when documents are delivered in the city, they must also via the city manager's office. That is what is drafted and sent to the ED IPID. That was the only response. He did not respond directly on what I've raised here.
Okay, now let's get this clear. You say you haven't provided us with that document, so it's not part of your bundle.
That's correct.
It's a document you subsequently have been able to locate.
That is correct, yes.
Would you be able to furnish us with that document? Later, doesn't have to be now.
Later I can do that, SC.
Based on what I'm going to raise, to the extent that it is relevant, then you'll give us a copy. We will update the files and we'll include it in the bundles. But my question is, I haven't seen the document you referenced, so I'm relying on your understanding of its contents. Do you understand that letter from Advocate Behari to be a specific response to your letter at page 150, dated the 21st of June 2023, the letter we have just looked at? Was it a response to this letter, or was it raising other issues?
He was raising other issues.
Okay.
It was not in response to what I've raised to him.
Okay. Then I will not be adding that annexure because it's not dealing with this specific letter. I take note of what you've said. To the extent that it may be necessary to add it on other issues, I shall do so at that juncture. But for the moment, my question is, did any of the two, Advocate Bihari and Mr. Sheka, respond to you after receipt of this specific letter at page 180, the letter of the 21st of June, 2023?
That is not the only follow-up instruction I've received. It was from the city manager that same day, on the 22nd, that I must withdraw my internal investigation processes.
Bear with me for a second, Chief Mapie. We will then deal with what happens next.
Okay.
I'm still at my question. Did Advocate Bihari and or Mr. Sheka in writing respond to your letter? Please look at your letter at page 180, the one of the 21st of June 2023. Did you ever receive a response from any of the two?
I did not receive any response from both of them.
Thank you. Turning then to your statement at page 28. Yes.
Before you do this, sorry, Ms. That letter at page 180, the very last paragraph, Chief, it reads, the appointed presiding officer compiled 6 charges after perusing the investigation docket. And then so that's at 180 in your letter. If you go back to page 175, that document where you were requesting a constitution of a tribunal, you've got a list of 5 charges or allegations that he would be required to respond to. But here in your letter you say 6. Is it because the charge sheet had 6? And can we get a copy of the charge sheet?
If the Commissioner can please repeat the question.
Okay, so at 180?
Page 180.
Yes, of that big bundle, the letter that you've just been looking at now to Advocate Behari.
I've got it, Commissioner.
If you go to the very last paragraph on that page, which reads the appointed presenting officer, you see where I am?
I could see, Commissioner.
Okay, and then it reads the presenting officer compiled 6 charges after perusing the investigation docket. You see where I'm reading?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Now, just don't close that page. Keep your finger there and then go back to 175. It's your request for a disciplinary. It's your request for a disciplinary tribunal at page 175. And then there's a list there of the charges, of the alleged misconduct rather, and it's 5 items. You see where I'm reading?
I could see, Commissioner.
Yes, the question I'm asking is, your letter speaks of 6 charges that are now in the discipline, that were prepared by the presenting officer. We can either get a copy of that or you can tell us what were those 6 charges.
Okay, Commissioner, on page 175.
Yes.
When this report was then sent to Labor Relations, they will appoint a tribunal presenting officer who will then go through, and if there's a need, there could be other charges which were added.
Yes.
That is why on page 180, I think there's now another charge, which is 6 charges.
And do you remember offhand what that additional charge was?
I wouldn't say as seated here, Chair, but those charges, they are whether they are in the bundles or not, but they are there, those charges, the 6 charges.
There's a charge sheet somewhere.
There's a charge sheet somewhere.
All right, thank you.
May I try and assist? Chief Mapia, you are correct. There's a charge sheet somewhere, and that charge sheet lies in a witnesses bundle. So there will be a witness who will be dealing specifically with these issues, and that is where the charge sheet is attached. And we will address the issues at that juncture, if I may request.
Thank you, Ms. Hill.
Thank you. So I do confirm, Chief Mapia, that the charge sheet will, be presented before the Commission in due course, but not necessarily through you, because you were not involved in that aspect of things, formulating the charges and the like. Are you happy with that?
Noted, SC.
Thank you. I refer us then to page 28 of your statement. We are now at paragraph 103, and from paragraph 103 you deal with what happened subsequent to your issue of the letter of the 21st of June 2023 to Advocate Bihari and to Mr. Sheka. Just to orientate us. You issued the letter, you confirmed that neither responded to your letter. So from paragraph 103 you then state what subsequently transpired. Can you deal with that?
On page 28, 103, I was also instructed to withdraw charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I addressed a letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi advising that I had taken a decision to withdraw the internal investigation process and redeploy him to his substantive position. The effect of this letter was not to withdraw the disciplinary processes. In fact, it was deliberately meaningless, as it purported to withdraw an internal investigation which at the time had been completed and on the basis of which charges had been formulated. This I did in a bid to stop the consistent harassment I was facing from the city manager and the 2 head of departments. In fact, therefore, the disciplinary process has not been withdrawn. I attach a copy of the letter marked JM33.
May I invite us then to JM33, which is in your big bundle from page 182. And according to, as you located, according to what you state in your paragraph 103, this is a letter you addressed to Brigadier Mkhwanazi after you had been instructed to do so.
That is correct, SC.
Before we get into the content of the letter, you say I was instructed to withdraw the charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Who instructed you to withdraw those charges?
I was instructed by the city manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi.
How did she instruct you? Did she write you a note to instruct you? Was it verbal? Could you tell the commissioners under what circumstances that instruction was issued to you?
She instructed me verbally. She did not put it in writing.
And that is what led to you to produce the letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
That is correct.
That is then at page 182, according to your statement. That's marked JM33.
That is correct, SC.
It's a fairly short letter. Could you quickly read it into the record? For the record, it's dated the 22nd of June, 2023. And once again, for the record, it is signed at the bottom. Is that your signature?
That is correct, SC.
It is addressed to J. Mkhwanazi, Director, Specialized Services, EMPD, copying G. Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police, EMPD, and Dr. I. Mashazi, City Manager, COE.
That is correct, SC.
If you could, and the subject matter is disciplinary matter, J. Mkhwanazi, and then you give his pay details and how he's identified in the system. Could you read into the record the body of that letter?
On the 2nd of February 2023, allegations of a serious, very serious misconduct were received from the media query from News 24 journalists, Mr. Jeff Weeks, which implicated yourself and was subsequently investigated by the Internal Affairs Section, EMPD. To date, the matter has not been concluded. I, as the Municipal Police Commissioner, have taken a decision to withdraw the internal investigation process under the case number 0302-2023 and herewith redeploy you back to your substantive position of Director Specialized Services as from 26 June 2023. Hoping you find this in order, then I've penned my signature.
And in your paragraph 103, you indicate that you use the words, and I quote, I quote, withdraw the internal investigation process. And you have testified and you have in your statement that you used those words deliberately and that they are meaningless because the actual investigation process had been concluded. Is that correct? So the use of the words withdrawal of internal investigation processes was deliberate on your part?
That was correct, SC.
Did it?
Chief, I'm sorry.
Yes, Chair.
Chief, is that not an after-the-fact rationalization or justification? I'm asking this because what did you think the understanding of the readers of the letter would be? Would they not understand that you were basically saying that everything now has come to an end, you are withdrawing everything? Would that not be the reading of, would that not be the objective reading?
To me, not, Commissioner, in the sense that the investigation, our internal investigation, has already been concluded and charge sheets have already been drawn by labor relations and the people whom they were appointed to deal with the matter.
Tell me, oh, please continue, I'm sorry.
And I received an instruction that I must withdraw my internal investigations, of which I did to that letter.
Please tell me why you think a reader would have understood what you meant, what you subjectively meant.
Commissioner, after receiving the instruction that I must withdraw my internal processes, because the IPID personnel, always when they come to the department to do further inquiries, they will link up with the Internal Affairs Unit to get much more information. And by then, our process, our internal processes, we have already concluded. It was already at a stage where it has been handed over to the tribunal where they have already prepared drawing up the charges. But because of the pressure and the harassment I was getting with regard to this case specifically, I felt that it was appropriate for me to also partially show that I am listening to that instruction, which didn't carry, in fact, any good weight in the case itself.
And how did you expect matters to unfold from that point onwards? That is, after you had written this letter. Did you expect anybody to continue with the prosecution of the disciplinary matter?
Chair, the powers with regard to disciplinary proceedings in the city, it was delegated to a divisional head, labor relations, the one who then appointed even the tribunal itself. The two other colleagues, which is Kemi Bihare and Linda Kashega, they came in this matter. Meanwhile, by then, it was not even delegated that they can handle this matters. They only came in the picture when it was only this case of Mesem Kwanazi. All other employees, we followed the process to the latter, where labor relations will do the rest with the appointment until the case is finalized. So this, out of all the employees in the city, this was the only matter which people have now to come in who were not delegated by then to do that. I think the labor relation expert, once he comes in here, he will be able to address that bridge, that gap, which I'm not maybe giving it 100% to the Commission.
Yes. Let me perhaps ask my question differently. In the face of your letter, did you expect the prosecution of the matter, that is the disciplinary proceedings, did you expect those to continue?
Commissioners, I expected the matter to continue. Even after that letter, I further requested further engagement as well with the ED of IPID.
And did you think the readers of your letter would understand you to expect the proceedings to continue?
I expected that, Commissioner, in the sense that I was specific that I'm not saying the case must collapse and there shall no further proceeding with that case.
Let me say this to you. Coming in cold, there is someone like me who knew nothing about the background, and reading your letter, I would understand your letter to be killing the entire DC process, or to be bringing the entire DC process to an end. Do you wish to comment on that?
I will disagree with that, Commissioner, that I was specific that I am withdrawing our internal investigation processes, which is the team I was heading. I wouldn't know what another reader can come with a certain conclusion, but I don't dispute what also the Commissioner is raising to me.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chair.
Chief, Ms. Slater.
Yes, Commissioner Maule.
Chief, it's a follow-up on this question. The city manager gives an instruction to you. You say the instruction was to withdraw the charges. Realistically, could employee relations proceed with this disciplinary action in the light of that kind of instruction? If they become aware of it, that the city manager has instructed you to withdraw the charges, could employee relations realistically proceed with the disciplinary hearing?
Thanks, Commissioner. The instruction, I think the city manager, she's aware of who is responsible of drawing even the charges and the stage where that case was. She could have even instructed labor relations, the person who is in charge of drawing those charges, to withdraw But all what I was told is that I must withdraw my internal investigations, whilst Labour Relations has already advanced themselves with even preparing the charges and appointing the disciplinary tribunal.
Well, your statement says the instruction was to withdraw the charges, not the investigation. You've drawn a distinction between the charges and the investigation and explained that's how you wrote your letter intentionally. But the instruction, according to you, in paragraph 103, was that you should withdraw the charges. So my question is based on what you say, that now there's an instruction from the boss of the institution to you. Employee relations becomes aware of it. Could they proceed with this decision? Even if you wished for it to continue, could employee relations continue with this disciplinary hearing now that the CEO has issued an instruction?
Regardless whether the instruction was issued to withdraw the case, technically I did not accede to that. Facing all the harassment I was going through and how I then worded my letter of the withdrawal of my internal investigation.
All right, and then, okay, Chief, when the city manager gave you the instruction to withdraw the charges, did she say why? Did she give you reasons for that instruction?
She told me that myself and the divisional head, Labour Relations, we must stop to be personal to Julius Mkhwanazi. So of which there is no issues of personality here, it's just issues of principle and police principle and discipline. I cannot be found